Okay, this is the final session of Dungeon World, 10 Hidden Keys. This is the final session of We Hunt the Keepers, too. Um, so I don't actually, so normally well, let's do a recap real quick. So the last session was pretty straightforward. You guys arrived in the city of Kanalata. You began an investigation into trying to find, well, you believe that the Archbishop of Kanalata has a book, a register that he's been keeping that connects up all the various church, the upper connects the upper echelons of the church, the saints and other important church people with various demons. It is essentially a sort of proof of the demonic cabal that currently controls the church, right? And the thinking is, if you guys can wrest control of this book from him and get this out, circulate this book around, the various royal courts of the world or whatever, and begin that process of people pushing back against the church and reclaiming the church and chasing out these demons. That's a process that will take many years, but like that process can't really begin like in earnest until some sort of like proof is provided. Um, Worth noting, an interesting little sort of bit of jujitsu. Many people are actually currently questioning the church right now in terms of its they believe it to be corrupt, and there's a widespread belief that the church hierarchy is a bureaucratic nightmare, and that there's all kinds of like predations and other terrible things the church is doing, but not connected to demons. The church has managed to suppress that. They've managed to suppress it by basically adopting reforms. We're going to reform, we're going to reform. And in reforming, they're also keeping everybody's eye off the real ball. You guys are there to grab the ball and make everybody look at what's really going on, right? So that's the idea. In Kanalata, you manage to draw the attention of um, some spies that are connected to rats in some way, because there were some rats that were watching you guys. Eventually, there were some rats that attacked Weary in his sleep. And then later, where we're picking up, there was like a massive rat swarm attack, which we're going to talk about at the beginning of the play. Um, Out of character, well, this is in character knowledge too, I guess, because you guys discussed it presumably in character. We know that there is a connection to all of this to a demon rat god called Rikisik. And we know that because someone basically planted an object on Weary's person that will lead him to the demon god Rikisik. It'll lead him to his mother, who is currently locked in an eternal, looping, never-ending battle with the demon god Rikisik. Um, this object, which is it's called a Shadow Vault key, um, somewhat confusingly named because it's a key, but it's not one of the keys that when we talk about keys in this setting, that's not what we mean. We mean something different, but this is just a literal key. And anyway, so someone planted this object on Weary, believing Weary would go after to save his mom, and also maybe destroy the demon rat god Rikisik. And so the thinking is that there's a connection between those earlier events of that object being planted on Weary's person and these current events of these rats that are infesting the city, keeping their eyes on you guys, and that kind of thing, causing trouble. We don't know what the connection there is with the Archbishop, if any, yet, but it's probably an easy assumption to make. There's some kind of connection. So normally what I would do is we would do the whole hey, where do we want this series to, how do we want this to end? Let's stick the landing. I'm not super interested in that this time. This is like the end of the great big whole thing. And you guys are going to be barreling towards a conclusion, one of two possible conclusions, or one of two. You've laid out two different directions for yourselves. Maybe you can do both. Maybe you just do one, and maybe you win, maybe you lose. But I don't think we're going to do too much like careful character exploration in this episode. I think this is going to be a pretty action-packed, like get straight to it, finish the business kind of session. So that said, the characters who are not retiring after this, i.e. the characters who are not weary, are allowed to continue into the next adventure series if they wish. We'll figure out a way to make it work. But if you want to retire them here, this is a great place to do it too. So. All right. And with that, you guys have any questions?
Nope.
Okie doke. As described last time, you guys were busily making preparations for scouting out and infiltrating this party that the Archbishop is throwing. I need to pull up my notes because I can't remember the Archbishop's name. Pull this up real quick.
The Archbishop's name is Reynaldo Castafiel.
That's right. He's a Castafiel. I should know that. Jesus. All right.
Reynaldo.
Well, the Castafiel part is what I should know. that was the name of our ongoing family characters in Discern Realities. Let's see here.
Rip Fraser.
Yeah,
oh, he's back.
Weird. I don't know what happened.
Me either.
The Hangouts was saving you from a spoiler just then.
I knew it. The Lord protects me.
Well, just in that moment you dropped out, I revealed the Archbishop's connection to broader world things right as you dropped out. So
he's not actually a Castafiel.
Okay, just
All
right. Let me get my notes again. Let's see. What is this called? Reynaldo Castafiel, right. So you guys were getting ready for that to infiltrate his party, presumably to search his palace and find that book. The important thing that was going to happen, I think, in terms of your mission, was that Weary was going to do the heist move, a move which is I'm discovering is not as like a great fit for some of the stuff you guys are doing, but we'll make it work. But in any case, the heist move should help you like be able to narrow certain things down as opposed to just trying to search the whole damn palace, right? So hopefully. You guys were getting ready. You were in your rooms at the Svelte Elk. All that stuff was going on, and then you heard just a number of like screams come up from the first story of the Svelte Elk. That is the patrons and stuff downstairs enjoying their food and drink. You hear a bunch of screams, and then you heard a mass squeaking and chittering of rats. Right. Assuming one of you will just like bolt out of your room and look down below because it's like a sort of open air, space. If you look down below, you will see huge swarms of rats covering like every surface, like crawling up people. Some people have like fallen down into them or flailing around. Others are just like trying to bat them off. It's just like chaos. But importantly, you see 3 robed figures moving into the inn, almost like these rats were like a vanguard, right? They're moving in behind these rats. They move through the swarm of rats like nothing, like they're not even there. They're wearing very, very, very frayed black robes and hoods, very cultist-like, right? Simple hemp ropes tied around their waist, very Spartan. They don't even have shoes. And they are just moving past the screaming people, moving past like, chairs and weapons and whatnot being flown all around as people freak out. They're just swimming right through that, going to the stairs up to the floor where you guys are at. I'm going to go around the table and find out what you each do. Weary, you can't be taken by surprise, so you probably have a plan. What are you going to do?
I think I'm going to just shoot one of them in the head with an arrow.
Brilliant plan. I love it.
Yeah, well, I was for a moment thinking we should just burn down the entire inn, but it seems reactionary at the moment.
Gaiska, what about you?
Stand in defense of the stairway so they can't get past me.
Nice. What about you, Alessio?
I think it seems like a good time for an invocation.
Okay.
Yeah. So we could either go manipulates the realm. Your date. What time is it?
Yeah, it's probably like I think we were gonna have like a good solid day for Weary to like map out to like do the heist move. So it's probably like early in the afternoon, right?
Okay.
Or very late in the morning, maybe like 11.
Yeah. Well, this is a pretty low scale invocation, but Saint Lorelei the Worm, whoever she is, controls the sun, or at least that's what something I have some power over. And it could be interesting to have them kind of like heading up the stairways and having like blinding rays of light like shooting from a window behind us to kind of obscure their vision if Gaiska and Weary are about to take them on, maybe to distract them to make sure Weary's shot hits.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's terrific. Do that invocation, see how it goes.
Cool. So it's a roll plus wisdom. My wisdom is 1. So that's a 9.
Okay, awesome. Gaiska, and you can go ahead and roll defend too if you want.
Do you have a roll for party?
Yeah, I'll pull it up for you. Hold on.
I'll do the rolling hangouts while you're doing that.
I got it. Here we go. Distinctly rational monarch.
Okay, never mind then. 2d6. I think I have a +1 con. I do. And my color is red. Submit. That is a 3.
Awesome. Good,
Hey
great.
guys.
I like the idea, at least though, that Gaisko's wearing his scale armor and he's got his star-imbued sword, and the light is kind of like shining off of him, so he's just like glittering at the top of the stairs. But then he fucked it all up, so.
I have an idea. Awesome. Oh, in case it wasn't clear, Sparkles and Yo-Yo are nowhere to be found. All right. Weary, go ahead and fire your arrow.
Okie dokie. That will be orange. Oh yeah, that's a fail. 6.
Ooh, 2 misses on the table. Boy, oh boy. All right then. Alessio, what is your what do you say?
Requirement.
What do you do to?
Okay.
I'm just curious what it looks like on screen a little bit.
Yeah. I don't know that Alessio, like I think Alessio used to verbalize all of his magic because he had this connection to Saint Lorelei, but now he's learned that that connection is fraught and potentially he draws his power from some different source entirely. He can't bring himself to say the words, and I think it's much more. It's become much more of an internal thing for him.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very physical for him. So has his arms raised in the air, and he's like tensing a lot, and you see him like raise his eyes up towards the sky to kind of like call on the power of the sun. And I'm supposed to choose a requirement.
Mm-hmm.
I think the okay thing is that my invocation is obvious and immediate, drawing attention to me. So that sounds like what I'm doing anyways. So I'm okay with
are you willing to take that if that means that like the miss conditions all flow to you? Is that what you're doing here?
I think that's interesting. I think that's kind of what Alessio is about too.
All right, I'm into that. Let me hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pull up the priest playbook too.
Sure. I mean, also, Jason, if you have an idea for your deity demands something in return, the GM will tell you what. You could go for that. But I don't even know the state of my relationship with my deity anymore. I don't know if Alessio does either. So
yeah. Okay, so you're looking for this blessing. Manipulate the realm your deity controls. Drawing attention to you. The innovation is subtle. Turn. Jim will tell you what.
And the realm that I've written in is the sun. So.
I think that's. Let's just go with the way you have it. That you draw immediate, obvious, drawing immediate attention to yourself.
Yep.
Okay, so that's happening. You're going for your arrow. Your shot just goes a little wide. Geiska, you are trying to like stand in defense of the stairwell, and I think what happens here is the light like goes. It flashes out like out of there's like a little window behind you guys, right? A little window facing the outside, and the sun is just low enough in the sky to where like it gets magnified and it just intensifies, right? And just like blinds these guys, right? Like they like throw their hands up like that, right? That's all good. That's all happening. One thing that's going on though is as their ascent up the stairs is stopped because of this blinding light. They kind of turn back. They turn away. That's all great. One thing though that you're going to be aware of is that as they run out, you will hear. All of you are going to hear, like, and see out on the street from the angle you can see it. There are other of these like robed people, right? And then behind the building you can hear like chanting, like a massive like swell of chanting coming up like from the alleyways, from behind the inn. There's a bunch of these fuckers and they are bringing down something really big on top of your guys' heads. Okay, so you guys are cornered. You guys are not in good. This is not a good situation. You're trapped, like, you know, like a rat in a cage, despite any rage you may currently have. So,
how far up is the window?
It's just like right behind you, and it's like on the second story.
Okay, is it possible for me to jump off the window and try to well, I'll wait to see what because I was thinking of jumping off the window and engaging whatever is going to happen, but I'll wait to see what everyone else wants to do.
Fortune favors dramatic action. I think you should do that.
Is everyone else gonna follow me in that? Just off the window and going to engage the cultists.
That sounds awesome. I think instead of I might not follow you. I might divine ward, and then that could be really cool. Like you jumping in the midst of all this battle with my priestly magic protection or something, and then Weary doing his thing.
Yes, and Weary does his thing. Yes, let's do that.
So before we continue this, Weary and guys, could you guys mark XP for your missed rolls?
Yeah, I did.
Very awesome. Cool. So guys, you're going for the window.
What, sorry?
Are you going for the window?
Yeah, going for the window.
What about you? Where are you going for the window?
I'm going to hit a chandelier with some candles in it and burn this mother down and then leave.
Yeah, like that's pretty dramatic. It's pretty risky.
Yeah, like maybe shoot. There's got to be alcohol or something flammable, so I shoot that and then maybe light it on fire, right, with the candles or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely.
Give me a dexterity roll to see how this goes off.
Okay. Come on, roll for your party. 8.
8. Okay. It's good. So you're gonna be able to smash up some alcohol, get a fire going. That'll catch some other things. A fire will start. That's all. That is the thing that will happen. It's gonna take a minute. Meanwhile, Geiska, we'll come back to there might be some consequences too. Alessio, Geiska jumped out the window. What are you doing?
Geiska, do you say anything on your way by, or do you just jump?
I think you would know what the intent is just
I
by
think so too.
me grabbing the sword with the one hand and jumping up the window with it.
Nice. So I look behind me at Weary starting a fire, and guys get out the window, just oh god, and then I think from my because I'm sort of Alessio's getting into the adventure life that he never knew before, so he's realizing he's got to kind of roll with these situations if he wants to keep up, sort of. So he quickly dives into his bag and pulls out like a lens, I think, and affixes it to the top of his staff, and I think he stands by the window and like looks down at Geiska and tries to catch the sunlight with his staff and like reflect it with his staff down into Geiska, and we can see like sort of like a ray of light just kind of connecting with, and like really brightly, like I want it to be like shimmering in the middle of this courtyard, and I would like to roll for Divine Ward and see if I can get him some protection.
Well, let's see how the jumping out the window goes first.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Give you a con roll, guys. Go.
I might need to protect him from the ground before I need to protect him from the cultist.
Okay. Rerolls. That's a 7, so that's better.
Yeah, you will. I think you'll dive out. It's just 2 stories. It's not you're a big adventure guy. You should be able to handle that. You dive out, you land on your feet. It's just kind of like you land kind of hard on your feet. So I'm gonna give you a -1 in your next roll. But otherwise you're good. No damage or anything like that.
-1 forward, yay.
Yeah, and I just fill it red so you know. And then cool. So that was no big deal. And so now you were going to try to like call some divine aid for Geiska. You're still staying up top though?
Yeah, I think I'm like starting to sweat a little bit. But I do think like Alessio is comfortable in the warmth, so he's just gonna kind of wait out the fire as long as he can, and then once maybe Geiska clears the path, he can jump or climb down. But I don't think he's ready to take a leap like that.
Yeah. So here's the deal. We're here. I think you describe what you do. Like, what does this look like as you're trying to light the place on fire?
Yeah, I think I initially missed the shot, probably because it's too light in here, But but I like turn my head and see more of these creature-like things floating towards us. So
they're just cultists. There's normal men as far as you can tell. So
but they can like float and shit.
I was being metaphorical. Like they just
okay.
They walk easily through the piles of rats. Right?
Oh, okay.
As if the rats part for them, right?
Right. Okay.
They're not like Nazgul or anything like that. So.
Okay, I think maybe around the top of the inn, semi-close to where we are, to the second floor, they have those really nice bottles of alcohol that are just for people to look at and are really expensive. And those are the ones that I break with the arrow. Like maybe there's a very big one or something like that. And then there's also a chandelier, and I shoot the top of the chandelier so it falls down and over this alcohol, and I'm hoping that the candle lights everything ablaze.
Well, so here's the thing. I think like where the alcohol like hits and smashes, and that's great. And then you drop the candle and it like catches that on fire. I think the bar is made of like a sort of iron and stone, and so it's not like immediately flammable. It's just the alcohol burning right now. In order to like actually catch the flame, there are several, like, remember last time I described like they have like old like tapestries that used to be fancy, like kind of like hanging here and there. What you need to do really truly is like you need to unfurl some of those tapestries, they're kind of like, pinned at like angles or whatever. So they kind of drape a little bit. You need to like unfurl some of those, get them to catch so that they light up the roof and stuff. That's what you need to get caught on fire. That's going to require some more prowess from you. So what do you do?
Let's see what I have on me.
Otherwise, this alcohol is just going to burn away, and that's going to be the end of that. So,
right. I have a short sword, maybe, and I have a rope and hook. So I think what I'll do, very elaborate, but I think what I'm gonna do is I'm going to throw the rope and hook close to the window that Gaiska left from, and use it as tension so that I can run along the wall and hack at the tapestry to make it
Oh my
fall.
god. Oh my god, this is such high stakes stuff. Roll dexterity. This is super high stakes.
More important that this is Michael Bay, even if I die. Okay, good. It's like a 12.
Okay, awesome. It'll go great. Give me the whole scene. What does it look like?
Yeah, so I start whipping the rope and hook, and I chuck it at like the corner by the window, and I point at Alessio and I say, "Get ready, you'll know when it's time to leave." And then I like pull it really tight, and I use it as tension, and I start running along the wall to the tapestry and use my short sword to slice it. And then I use the line as like a, a whatchamacallit, like a swing. So I swing along the insides and do a little flip landing right back on the banister, and I say, "It's time to go."
Okay, great. Meanwhile, Alessio, you were trying to aid Gaiska, right? I'm going to show you what happens down where Gaiska's at, so you can maybe like kind of better tailor what you're going to do. Okay, so Gaiska, you land down down below. You're there. It takes you a second to kind of like get your bearings. You're kind of still in that sort of like crouched, like you just landed, boom, kind of Spider-Man style, right? And there behind in the back alley, rounding the corner, there are a number of these like black robed figures, and one of the figures in the middle, who appears to be dressed in his black robe is not like this sort of like rough spun frayed black. It's more of like a very elegant like silk black, right? But importantly, still actually frayed though. Like it's a really nice, beautiful silk material, but it looks like it's been chewed around the edges, right? Like particularly around the hems and stuff. Exactly, right? And he pulls out a big fucking anaconda, not an anaconda, a python. He pulls out a great big python. He's just holding a big, massive python snake in his hand. And he says, he kind of holds it up, and he has a dagger, and he says, "Lord Rikisik, hear my call. Accept this offering and bestow upon me your power." And then he like jams the knife into the python and just like splits it, and the blood of the snake just like spills all over his hands and face. Alessio, what do? You see this little ritual taking place, let's say.
I mean, I still really like the idea of Gaiska dropping down in the middle of this entire crowd and going all anime on these fools, and I think I'd like to just support him. And
Okay.
I think I don't think I have enough like priestly control to like interrupt this guy's weird ritual necessarily. I would just like to bolster Gaiska as much as I can so he can just overcome this.
Okay.
So I think Divine Ward works really well, and then I can kind of spend my hold to buffer some things. All right. That's an 11, so I get 3 hold.
All right, nice. Let's look at that real quick, just make sure I understand.
I can spend it to take +2 forward to, or I can spend it to grant the following to the subject. So guys, I can give him +2 forward to armor. Okay. I can give him 1d8 heal 1d8 damage, take +1 forward to defy danger, and to drive back an approaching enemy.
Okay, so and you have 3 hold.
Yes.
Okay, awesome. All right, so here we go. It's Gaiska versus these dudes. I think Gaiska, there are probably like 6 of this sort of like normal cultists, and the one that just like split open this python, right? The one that split open the python he has like an inky black void open up beneath his feet, like a disc of blackness that he appears to be just like sort of floating on. And out of this void of blackness, a massive, thick swarm of rats just like rise up out of this inky void and begin to like cover his body. They just like they pass over him like a cyclone, like a swirl. They just like go up and all over his body, all over his arms, all over his head, until he is just a massive, like vaguely humanoid shaped rat golem, for lack of a better word, just a big, massive pile of rats with a vague arm and leg shapes, probably standing about a good like 8 feet tall at this point, right? And probably like 10 to 15 rats thick, okay? Just a big pile. The other cultists, they rush you. What do you do?
Just real quick before, I think when I see that like rat thing forming, I'm just like, oh, one up me, will you? And I just like focus really hard on like on the magic I'm channeling through the staff, and I want Gaiska to just like start. All the scales are just like shimmering and glistening and everything. And it's
nice. It's a total showdown, right? I love it. Well, Gaiska, you have the power of Lorelei in you. What do you do?
I have spell focus, and one of the things that are aligned to my spell focus is call across space.
Okay.
I kind of want to, like, and tell me if this is okay. I kind of want to call a star beast on this fucker.
Oh, that's super dangerous, right? That'd be really dangerous. But I'm here for it. Let's look at your playbook to make sure we do this right.
That sounds like some finale shit to me.
It does sound like it sounds like we're having the finale right now, like 20 minutes in. I love it.
2 hour
of course, I may have to just keep raising the stakes after this, right? So
yeah.
All right. So what is this thing you're doing? Spell focus. All right.
Focus.
When you first learn magic. Okay. So I'm sorry. So just which move are you trying to trigger here, Gaiska?
But the spell.
Cast a spell.
And so the spell.
Oh, you were just telling me what your focus was. Okay, sorry. Okay, so you're just casting a spell. I love it. So you want to try to call a star beast. Wow, that's crazy. If the star beast helps you, are you content with then having to cope with the star beast? I think that's what's at stake, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, so, and I know star beasts can go after other things as well. So, as proven by Cancerian, and I know star beasts can be reasoned with, as proven by Geminas. So
that's true too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I think it's a super interesting idea. Let's get it on the table. Let's. So first things first. There are six cultists rushing you. That's problem number one. You will not be able to do that if you're having to engage them. Is this somewhere where the divine ward might help?
Yes, it definitely is.
I was thinking divine ward them off.
Yep, I think it's a perfect opportunity to drive back an approaching enemy. So, do you want to kind of narrate this, Maria? Like. It's all sunlight focused, right? What does your scale armor look like?
I think the scale armor is pretty practical, but still it looks better than it actually is because of the sunlight. So it just starts shining brighter, and then the cultists were real back as they the same way they were in the staircase. But instead of the sun coming from the windows, it was the sun coming from reflected on the scale armor.
Cool.
All right. And I will roll. My modifier is +1 because it is now okay. Yes, 12. It works. Holy hell, it works.
But you still have to choose a thing. You're not completely off the hook here. You have to choose one from your list there.
I think it's gonna sap my energy, so I take -1 ongoing to end. I want to make this as less As I want to minimize risks at this point, so I'll take the -1 int.
That sounds good. All right. So what does it look like? So you've already described the cultists were driven back. That's great. This big towering rat beast is still a thing though, right? Here's the thing. You don't know which star beast you're going to get. You don't know what they're going to do. They're going to help in some way. And we'll find out after we take a quick break. All right. Find out what goes on. Take like 2 or 3 minutes. I'm about to pull some serious Final Fantasy shit right now. It's gonna be Final Fantasy summons for days. Right. That's like exactly what this is, right? All right. So, do you just like hold your sword aloft and like beckon for the star beast?
Yeah. Yeah, let's go with that.
Awesome, I love it. All right, so appearing above the fray, there is a bloated, squat, like kind of a squat, bloated frog woman. Okay, she's got like kind of greenish, yellowy skin, big, saggy, frog-like boobs, which are uncovered, and she's sitting kind of cross-legged in the middle of the air, and appearing before her, almost like directly in the middle of the airspace above this battle, are a pair of scales. They just appear, big pair of like weighing scales, and they're currently weighed so that they're weighed in favor of the rat cultists. Like it's like this, right? Like yours is up and theirs is down, right? And the frog, this frog woman, she reaches and she pulls a few stones off their side, and that as she pulls the stones off, the 6 cultists scream and they grab their faces and like they let out like a terrible scream, and like as they pull their hands back, they just pull away their like liquefied flesh and eyeballs and shit that just like fly, that just like slicks off their hands, and they just fall down like dead, skeletal, and just collapse. And then the scales are now even. Weary, you see this? You're there. The bar is now lighting on fire. That's all going on. You may turn to see what Alessio sees, the scene that I've just described. Alessio, Weary, what are you going to do? What do you got going on?
So the Star Beast is just hanging out for the moment, right?
Oh, yeah.
And from what I can tell, it appears to be on our side for the moment.
It balanced the scales, so now that Gaiska versus the big rat abomination is equal.
Right. I want to. So I'm back on the banister, having kicked off the wall and swung and whatnot. And I'm just gonna assume that this place is gonna go up soon.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
So I'm going to run and jump out the window, attaching the rope to the like a back belt loop or whatever. And as I'm like falling, I'm gonna shoot at the rat king.
Okay, that's nice. That's all going to work. You're going to run, you're going to jump, you're going to do your thing, you're going to fire your arrow. The arrow just like hits that big swarming mass of rats, maybe kills a few rats, and otherwise nothing happens. And then the scales a little bit in Gaiska's favor, just ever so slightly. Gaiska, what do you do?
I am going to charge the Rat King.
All right.
The Rat Golem, at least.
Yeah. So this rat cultist who's now covered in this basically like power armor of rats, right? Like this huge like rat power armor. Yeah, it like lumbers forward. You're charging forward. First thing you've got to do, he like whips his arm. He just like whoosh, like slings his big massive arm, and a big huge like it's like the width of a table. A big like rolling ball of rats just like flies at you like a projectile. Just what do you do?
All right, so this is like a boulder of rats.
Basically, yeah.
I think I want to cleave it in half if we're going full anime.
It's a risky move. It's a risky move, but give me a con roll. because that's
Do I
not
have to-
that's taking the blow.
Do I have to get this one before the roll for my hold?
Wait, what'd you say? Say that again, Matthew. You broke
So
up.
I spend one hold to give Gaiska +1 forward to defy danger. Do I need to decide that now?
You should probably decide that now. Yeah, because this is a Defy Nature con.
Yeah, might as well.
All right.
All right, please. I am going to roll selected. That is actually helpful because now I have a 7.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Then I think like the blade just like we see it like glint with this like piercing light, and you can just see maybe it refines the sharpness a little bit, or it heats the edge of it or something. And go ahead and describe the rest, but I just want the
Yeah,
magic to
so
be.
I basically I was thinking it was strength, but it's gonna be gone, I guess. So let me think. So as the
Yeah, because the way I'm viewing it is you can't actually cut through it. It just hits you, and you just either survive that or you don't.
yeah, okay, so so it just goes through me, and then I just brace myself, and the light shines on the rats,
Yeah.
and then the rats scatter.
Yeah, I think it just like maybe just like kind of breaks like the light is like a wave breaking against the rocks, right? It's just like right, and maybe you're a little rattled, but you're otherwise well, you did get a 7. You're a little rattled. You got a -1 forward.
Again.
So, Weary, are you just hanging out or what?
If I'm down on the streets again now, I'll race up to try to fight with Gaiska.
All right, awesome. What do you do?
I've got my 2 swords, so I think. So does it still have its power armor, or is that?
Yeah. Like it's standing on this black void where there seems to be an endless amount of rats coming up from it, like a geyser, right?
Okay, I think since I shot it once and it had like a little bit of an effect, I think now
it did nothing. It just hit the rats and nothing happened.
Right. I think I'm going to try to like time the arrow. So if it's writhing around it, is there any point in which I could like land a shot through it at the guy or anything?
No,
like
it's the guy is just absolutely covered. It's just like a thick. It's like just a thick, like dozens rats deep shell, basically. At this point, you got to get to the gooey middle, basically.
Okay.
Can we do like a action where I could like do some kind of invocation to shine like a point on his body to like get the rats to move away from that, and then like open up like a spot for him to shoot? Maybe that could just be an aid, but if I need to actually do the move to create the opportunity.
Yeah, that sounds a good aid. I just need to know what you're trying to do, Weary.
Yeah, I'm gonna if Alessio is trying to do that, then I'll try to aim my shot at the opening point, and my plan was to put some poison on the arrow.
Ah, good. You can take a moment to poison your arrow. That's no big deal. Done. And the golem thing is kind of focused on Gaiska anyway, so you can do that pretty easily. The scales fully out of whack now. And the frog creature, the frog star beast floating in the air, sitting cross-legged, removes a couple of stones from Gaiska's side. Weary, you feel enchantment rising up over your body. Something is trying to take over you. You need to roll con to resist it.
Okie dokie. Yeah, pretty good con, actually. Con 2. Oh, I have a condition sickness too, though. What does that mean?
It's
-1.
Oh, -1. Okay, so
it's
just
one
+1. Six is 7.
7. Okay.
Don't die.
You were going to resist the magic, but in excuse me. You're going to resist the magic, but in resisting the magic, you are also you're just going to take basically like a sort of not as bad version of it. You're going to take just a d6 damage, no armor.
Okay.
And what it looks like is you feel your skin like in certain places like starting to like break out into like boils, like
I rolled a 1.
That's good. You're good to go. The scales are still out of whack, though. All right, so Geiska, I still owe you a complication, right? Yeah, complication is pretty straightforward. You managed to survive that rat bomb, but like you just
Oh, no, you gave me the complication.
Oh, that's right. I gave you -1. That's right. Yeah. So what do you do?
Still charge the rat god. I mean, not rat god, rat mass of golem things.
Go for it. You got your one arm. That's another reason why you couldn't really like cleave through the rats, because you only had one arm you were doing it with. Yeah, go for it. I'll let you get within striking distance this time.
All right, so that is 2d6 plus 2. Submit. That's a 7.
7. Okay, you guys are going to be trading blows. Are you attacking with at least a longsword?
I am attacking with my signature weapon.
Which is that a longsword?
It's a huge sharp blows in the presence of.
That's perfect. Okay, as long as it's a short sword. A short sword won't be able to hit it. That's why I ask. Like, it has to be something longer. Okay, cool. I need to pull up this creature's stats 1 second. It's on the Dungeon World Codex if you guys want to look them up.
Which Dungeon World Codex?
There's a website called the codex.dungeon-world.com where the people make their own monsters. It is called the Rikisik Rat Lord, if you want to look him up.
Oh.
I prefer not to know all of his horrifying abilities. And
it has 2 piercing, messy, forceful, and it glows in the presence of enemies of the first starlight. So now
2
that
piercing, messy, forceful. Forceful will get you into the middle of it. Yeah, without any particular troubles. How much damage do you do?
1d10, which I still need to roll. Traumwork. 1 to piercing.
So you did not actually hurt him, as it turns out.
Actually, I have my human racial move, which lets me reroll.
Oh, good. I would take that now. Yeah, this is your
That
best
is
shot, probably.
Piercing.
All right, awesome. Okay, so he's still good to go, but like, yeah, you managed to like jam your sword in there. You hit something, right? And then it swings around its arm, massive like rat covered arm, right? Or imagine like, I don't know if you guys used to read like Spider-Man comic books, but you imagine like Sandman's big like sand fist. It's like that, but with rats, and it like just just smashes up, just like crashes up against you. The force of it plus rats crawling inside your armor and clothes biting at you does a d10 plus 2 no armor.
Reroll. Did it reroll? I think it did. I think it did, so it's 8.
8, all right. Meanwhile, Alessio, what do you do?
well, if I do see Weary kind of like, do his acrobatic move and jump down into the fray and like try to line up a shot, I saw before that it wasn't as effective. So I would like to, I don't know if this is an invocation where it's kind of like one of the options is your invocation rebukes your deity's enemies. And I would, because Lorelei represents sort of like empathy and passion and guidance and everything, rats are very, mystery.
All about the darkness, yeah.
Darkness, right? So I think that it could be cool if I give Weary an opportunity to land the perfect shot.
Yeah, so like a rebuke would be like yeah, I like that as a rebuke. That's great. What that move is, that triggers a move, I guess.
Yeah, that's invocation.
All right, go for it.
All right, cool. All right, that's a 5.
You begin. I assume you call out to Lorelei or some such.
I still don't know if I call it to Lorelei, and maybe that's why it's not as effective as it could be. But I think Alessio is really trying to do this on his own power because he doesn't really. He's again the connection has been severed in his mind to his goddess because after he's learned of what she is. So I think it's more of like the connection with him and Weary. That's kind of what he relies on now. Is the, willingness to support his friend in this moment, and he wants to like bolster Weary to kind of land the shot. So I think straight up power friendship.
You got 5 though, right? On your roll.
Yeah, I got a 5. So I think at this point I try and like turn my staff and like turn the lens onto the Rat King and try and like push forward against him, really summon up as much light as I can to just light up his body. But I don't know how that's going to go.
Yeah. So those scales floating above the combat just like they're near to breaking at this point. And the frog, Starbeast Libron, she like shakes her head, her jowly, slickened head, like in disappointment. It grabs a few stones and in an attempt to bring back the balance. And you both feel the ensorcement coming over you again. You, Weary, and you, Alessio. Both of you roll con.
Oh
no. Sorry, Weary.
That's okay.
9.
I roll 10.
Okay,
Or no,
you're good.
9 because I have the sickness.
-1.
You're not
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you both take a d6, no armor. And you got no help from Lorelei. All right, so that's all going on, but the scales are still out of balance. Boy. According to Libron, you have the upper hand here, Gaiska. The fight is totally in your favor.
Okay.
She sees the cosmos in ways that we all cannot, right?
All right.
So what do you do?
I still have the advantage, so I am going to press forward with it. While I can.
Just continue to try to stab into that mass of rats to get at the guy.
Yeah.
All right. Love it. Roll strength or roll hack and slash.
Hack and slash +3 because I no longer have the. Oh, that's an 8.
All right. That's trading blows again. Go ahead and roll your damage.
That's for me. Submit. 7 to piercing.
Okay, he's still up, but you're close. You're close.
Okay, and then reroll 6 to +2, I guess.
Yeah, he does 6 + 2 no armor.
So that's I am not looking good.
How many hit points are you down to?
7.
Weary, you see just this like just Gaiska like stabbing and struggling, and this thing's smashing him, and like Gaiska's like trying to just it's a terrible like David and Goliath kind of situation, right? And Libron is up there like kind of nodding her head like good, all is right with the world. Weary, what do you do?
If I can't get a shot, then I'll run up and try to hit them with hit the cultist with my sword as well and help it.
What kind of sword do you use?
I have a dueling rapier and a short sword.
All right, dueling rapier is good enough. All right, so you're just gonna run up and stab. Is that the idea?
Yeah.
All right, give me a hack and slash.
Where the rats are thinnest.
Yeah, good luck.
Wait. He has to run up from the building, or from where is he?
You're down below now, right? He jumped.
Okay.
Yeah, he jumped down. He kind of like roped down in an attempt to like get down there with.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Also, Alessio, the bar is going to be burnt. This is happening pretty quickly, so the bar is not totally like up in flames yet. But just know at some point you're going to have to get out of the Sveltelk.
What am I? I'm doing strength, am I?
If you're doing the dueling rapier, it's dexterity, right?
Oh yeah. Okay, that's good then. 8 is 11.
11. All right, cool. Roll your damage.
All right, 1d8.
Does that have piercing by chance? You really need it.
Let's see. I have 8 damage, and a rapier has close 1 piercing, precise.
1 piercing. Okay.
Yeah, and
He rolled
yeah,
that.
yeah, and I rolled an 8 too.
Nice. 8. I'm just doing some math real quick.
Math.
That's enough. Describe it.
I think I've been as I was trying to line up my shot, and I got frustrated, so I ran up the street, and I think I put my sword in right as Gaiska's sword digs into it, and since mine's like just that thin little point or whatever, it like threads the needle alongside of her or the Gaiska's really long sword. It's like the Buster sword, right? Is that what it is? Yeah. So it like hits against Gaiska's sword and then follows it down to
Nice. Yeah.
dig right into the cultist's heart or mind.
Nice. And the rats just like fall away like water, like down into this black void, which seals up, and this cultist like falls back and falls down, and his hood falls off his head. And Alessio, you'll see it was Reynaldo Castifiel. It was the Archbishop.
Oh.
I mean, I'm still up in the window, but I think I'm like slack-jawed, and
why do you know it's him? I think he has a distinctive facial feature. What is it?
I think it's a very strong angular chin and a hooked nose, sort of, and very like strong eyebrows kind of thing. He just has a face that you remember, and I probably thought of a lot in my years, kind of after what he said to me. I mean, like I feel like Alessio might have something to say, but like the immediacy is sort of on Weary and Gaiska standing over his body, right? Like Fraser, I know Weary is not as interested in the book as he is in Rakisik, but like, you know, did he have it on him, right? Like, I guess
he does not.
sure he doesn't, just not carrying around this tome with him, but
we still have proof that Reynaldo.
He didn't have room after the boa constrictor, or after the python.
Not the entire church will prove that Reynaldo was a cultist or something. But you're still in a building on fire, so
yeah. Assuming you will climb down, Alessio, from Weary's rope, but you can come down there with the rest of the group.
Yeah,
and you don't have to worry about guards coming or anything because everybody's gonna be focused on the fire. That's actually one nice benefit of the fire is that you guys can be back there with a bunch of dead fucking cultists and proceed as you wish and not have to worry about anybody bothering you. So
then I think I'd like walk over slowly, and I'm kind of like, you know, filled with the warmth of what had been St. Lorelei. I no longer really know what it is, but I'm feeling emboldened for sure. And I think I like walk up and stand over his body and say,
Lebron has disappeared, by the way, just in case anybody's curious about
that. Yeah, I was about to say, where the hell is the service now?
Lebron's gone.
It seems that the heavens might judge in the favor of those who follow a brighter path. Yours was a path of folly, Reynaldo.
He's dead.
Is he dead?
Yeah.
He's dead. He's like totally dead. You can have your speech, but he's definitely dead.
Yeah, sure. I think I just like shake my head and like look down at him, like the rat's like skittering away, like knowing that, you know, I think this is some sort of vengeance for Alessio because of knowing that, you know, the conflict was such a big deal, and that he, you know, turned down this path of demon worship, and this is how it served him in the end, and this is how Rakisik treats his you know, his followers and stuff like that. And I think I'd turn to Weary and say it seems he has become some sort of avatar of the demon god. we managed to just slay him. Rakisik's power may be weakened in this time. What do you wish to do?
I think that we should get the book, save save the rebellion first, and then I will go to meet my fate with my mother and face Rakisik after I know that the truth might come out.
With its primary guardian out of the way, I think the book should be a cinch for a thief like you. And if your fate is to meet with this avatar of ruin and chaos, then it might be best that we meet it with you.
That's your choice. I think that little is known of the god, but I am sure it will be much harder to defeat than this avatar was.
I need to catch my breath first.
I was just going to say, I think, we saw those years ago that our fates were tied together, and though those strands might have been severed, we are the keys to whatever we might unlock in this time. But we have been chosen for this. That is all I know.
With people drawn to the fire and us having eliminated the avatar, I think we should move to get the book now, though, as well.
Yeah.
Well, so what would your guys' move be here? I mean, it's fairly obvious that Ronaldo must have had some sense of what you guys were there to do, right?
Yeah.
Otherwise he wouldn't have come out with with all of his big guns, right? And the main reason why he knows what you guys were up to is because he's got a very, very able spy network throughout the city, right? A spy network that you just merely speaking about things makes him know it, right? Because there are rats everywhere. And so, yeah, I mean, I guess there's probably no open question of whether he would have ferried the book to some kind of safety or hiding, yeah, or what. So, what's your first move?
I think after clearing my head, I'm gonna cast a spell to, because I want to clear my head to clear that -1 ongoing first.
Sure, yeah.
But after that, I want to cast a spell about peel back the veil.
Okay.
To figure out where the book is right now.
Mm-hmm.
Or either that or use heirloom, whichever one is more appropriate.
So here's another question that we need to talk about for a minute. There are certain presumably when you went down and you saw the rats were doing their stuff, right? You saw the rats down in the inn, and then you made the decision to burn the inn down, and then you immediately engage in this fight. Presumably you didn't have all your shit on you at that time, right? You will have left some things back behind in the inn. We need to have a discussion about that because you burned the inn down.
Because I don't use my shield anyways anymore.
That's true. Yeah, that's a fair point.
Probably my rations and my coins are also gone.
Yeah, I think your coins and almost certainly your rations. Let's see, you would not just be carrying those around, right?
And that's it. Because everything else is my weapon and my armor. So
yeah.
I'll drop. I'm happy to drop any or all of my bandages. I'd like to keep one use of my bag of books, Alessio has maybe had some tome around with him.
Yeah, I think having a book is good if you want. Yeah, definitely your bandages are gone.
The armor I can drop too.
Weary on yours. You are almost certainly, you can have your coin because you're a thief. It seems like you would instinctively keep your money with you.
Maybe
but
I left my dagger and my short sword. Like I just like grabbed those to fight when I saw the
yeah,
things. Or
yeah,
something.
and I think probably also, I imagine also your antitoxin, your herbs and poultices, your bandages, and your rations.
Okay. Sounds good.
All right.
So we need to we need a plan here. The party is still happening tonight, right?
Oh, spells being cast. Let's get to that. What was your spell,
yeah.
Casca?
Right.
I didn't interrupt you, but Casca,
Wait.
what was your spell going to do?
Spell trying to figure out where the book is.
Or is this just heirloom? Are you just doing heirloom?
I think I'm gonna cast a spell since it's more reliable than heirloom.
Okay. Sounds good.
Because yeah. At this point, I wanted to succeed more, so.
All right, sounds
So
good.
plus 2, so submit. That is a 9.
Right. But the spell is not as clearly defined as heirloom, right? I can kind of just tell you whatever. Like,
Well,
heirloom, you get to be told specific things, right?
Well, the spell will always give me a negative effect, even on a 10 plus.
Right.
So, and since it is 7 to 9, I will take one last long and the -1 ongoing again.
And you want to know like where the books are?
Yeah.
I've got this. You see a brief vision of an alleyway. Not an alleyway, like a little street. It's a street it's perfectly dark, illuminated by a few just a few like lanterns here and there, right? But it's otherwise just kind of a dark, crowded little lane. And you pass a series of strange businesses and shops. The first, you pass like a mushroom garden. There's a person, an old man, growing and selling mushrooms. There is a food vendor that has a number of like delicious treats, like roasted cat and also roasted hand and some other like nice things hanging from it. And then you see another shop that has just human corpses hanging by ropes from the roof of the porch, right? Corpses tied up like Christmas turkey, right? Like tied up with like prices marked in soot on their flesh. That's it.
It's in the black market, I think. Or I say that once once I'm out of the trance or the spell.
So he lost it. He sold it.
Probably sold it in before he came here, so with knowing that we would get the book if he didn't.
He could just be hiding it in this place too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and he could be hiding it as well.
Well, it's not a place I'm excited about going to, but I'm thankful for this vision. I kind of just like look lost back at the inn that's still kind of like burning, and I'm just like, should we go then?
Yes.
Yeah. Where do you go?
We ask for directions to the corpses.
We're gonna get a good corpse.
Is there another urchin that we can like tip off to like lead us where we need to go?
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. I mean, what's your plan? I mean, this is probably not some place that's just out in the open, right? I mean,
Does we have the
Nope. I know the movie you're thinking of. I don't have it.
okay,
The
okay,
Criminal Connection one, right?
yeah,
Nope.
fine. I'll use heirloom. Fine.
So Geiska didn't really recognize exactly like where this place might be.
A 9 on heirloom.
1 second. What were you saying,
Sorry.
Matthew?
I was just asking, like, what Geiska saw in his vision. Did he not really recognize exactly like where it was? Like, we still need to kind of figure out how to get there.
Yeah, you didn't even. I mean, yeah, you just got like basically a brief glimpse of a place. That's
Okay.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, it sounds like guys could drop some dice.
Yeah, I got a 9.
Okay. So and read heirloom to me.
Heirloom. It is basically okay. When you consider on a 10 plus, the GM will give you good detail. On a 7 to 9, the GM will give you an impression and might ask you some questions in return. So, so they will give you an insight relating to the current situation. So,
the insight you get from the first starlight is nothing, and that is an insight of its own, because your sword, your magic being fundamentally connected to the heavens, to stars, to starlight, you are drawing a blank because wherever this place is, the stars have no sway.
it's underground.
It's underground.
I think that so does Geiska like come out of his trance and kind of and tell us this?
Yeah, it's underground.
I met a patron in the bar last night. He seemed to be connected to some of the seedier folk of this city. Maybe I can rally up a group that might one, know where we need to go, and two, be able to cause ample distraction while we get in there and do what we need to do.
Awesome.
Sure. If you need, here's the body to show that Reynaldo is dead.
Yeah, well, that's actually a good question. What are you guys going to do about Ronaldo? He's a big deal in the city, and he's just dead in the back of the alley. What do you do with his body?
Also dressed in cultist robes.
Right.
I think it could be cool to kind of like, you know, have, you know, gather up Reynaldo and maybe a bunch of the like cultists. Like, do they have any like trinkets or amulets or something on them?
They have their holy symbols.
Okay, yeah,
which
gather
are
symbols, and then it would be cool. Sorry, go ahead. What?
The holy symbols are they're little wooden discs that have like hundreds of little like chew marks, like little bite marks on it.
Oh, nice. Well, I think if it's still the afternoon, it could be cool to kind of have Alessio maybe like say you know, it's time to rally the troops, and then he kind of like picks up and like scoops up all the amulets, and maybe he's like Geiska, you can carry this guy, right? This frail old archbishop.
Sure.
We're gonna have a rally.
Oh, I know what you mean. I've seen that shit before.
we're gonna show the people proof that these priests are fallible, dealt with like any other mortal being, that the power of Rikisik does not give them any sway that they would not otherwise have. I will, Weary, you have some connections in this city. I have met a few of my own. Let's begin spreading the word. Tonight I'll hold a sermon.
It seems like it might tip off anybody that is like holding the book for this person too, though, right? Like,
Yeah.
we're just literally parading the guy around who we killed, who is probably storing the book.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess out of character, I was thinking it might be more of like a secret meetup, like calling in all the revolution and stuff like that. But you do have a point that if this dude is like if he has power over all of the rats in the city, like it's probably still not going to escape their ears. So maybe we need a little more subtlety. Maybe we just need a couple agents to kind of act on our behalf. Were you going to say something, Jason?
I mean, I just want to find out what your aims are, and we can maybe figure out what the best move is, right? Like, what are you actually trying to accomplish out of character? What are you trying to accomplish right now?
Right. Well, first of all, we have this just like revolutionary force sitting on the table that Alessio wants to leverage because he, the power to the people kind of thing. What I want to accomplish is, I want to get some people on our behalf. Like, I want this to feel like not just like, these three agents working in the shadows, but the city fighting back against the institution kind of. And, it would be tough to kind of get people together quietly without being found out, but that could be interesting. And then for sure, once we have the book, that'll be a lot easier. But like because Alessio made that contact last night, and because we don't know exactly where this is, and there might be some defenses involved, and I like the idea of using a group as kind of a distraction to kind of occupy Rikisik's watch and perception and stuff like that, and divert the resources so we have more of an opportunity to get in there, I guess.
I think that's an interesting idea. I won't weigh in on the I'm retaining certain bits of GM knowledge that I will hold on to, but I think that's an interesting idea.
I mean, I kind of do like that Alessio's getting all hopeful and filled with light and everything, and Weary's just like no, they're gonna find you out. Like you understand the shadows better than I do, right? Like, do you think?
I don't know if what we need is numbers to get to this shop and retrieve the book, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think Alessio is probably just like I suppose I might be letting myself get a little caught up in the hero's fervor. You may have the right of it, Weary. This is your domain. But if we don't have any connections or ways to get into this market, then we may be treading on thin ice. We may be easily identified. They know who we are, what we look like. We can't move silently in the city, and having agents working on our behalf could be helpful.
In terms of like actually finding this place, you mean, right? Or
yeah.
Sure. Yeah,
I mean, to be clear, you guys haven't tried to find the place yet, right? Like,
yeah.
It be that difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, like I was thinking where my mind went immediately was like maybe a thief who has been here before might know the underground, and I might try to spout lore about it anyway, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You've done operations in Kanalata. You may know, right? I mean,
yeah.
Yeah. Do a spell lore. See what you know.
Okay. Spout lore's whiz.
Int.
Oh, int. I always get those two mixed up.
The distinctions are. I'm gonna clear these dice.
Yeah, there we go.
D&D quandary too.
So 6 plus and 0.
Help from somebody, maybe. You've been in the city before too, right, Alessio?
Yep, I've been in the city before, for sure, and I think that, yeah, maybe I had to kind of go down there on some unsavory business last time. Actually, it might be more recently that I've kind of been moving away from the church, that I've kind of been doing some investigation and maybe probing into the nature of, the faith and, the whole demon hierarchy that I begin suspecting exists. So I might have kind of tried to look for this place before.
Yeah, just do an just 8 with hand.
That's a 7.
That bumps you up to 7, Weary. I have to tell you something interesting. What Geiska has described in his vision is almost certainly a location beneath the city called the Black Nest. the interesting thing, that's interesting in itself, but also importantly, the Black Nest is it's a seedy place. Lots of like dastardly, unsavory business transactions go on. Importantly, it has a waterway, and it is a place where goods are smuggled in and out of the city.
And it's morning now.
Yep.
Or close to it, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we could do both plans, right? Alessio, you could rile up your people, and then in order to find the place, we could always just go to like these docks or whatever, and then look for these clandestine people moving product.
Yeah. As far as we know, the book is. As far as my vision tells me, the book is still in the place. So we
Right.
just have very little time.
Yeah, if he's trying to smuggle it out of the city, if he's trying to get out of the city, you are a real tight time frame, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So we need to do this now.
Okay, so we'll just go looking for an entry by like the
Well, so that's
waterway.
the thing. It's all secret, right? Like, so the authorities can't just roll up, right? Although probably many people know where it is, right? Even though it's they probably do their best to like mask the entrances and exits, right? That's going to be on you guys, right, to find some way of locating it.
Again, if I could go back to like that, the men I had the conversation with last night said there was like a group that was going to be showing up to the party and causing trouble, and
Right.
maybe I could sort of head some of them off. Maybe some of them are involved in the Black Nest. Like presumably these are people on the underside of the city who want to see the church come down, and there are a lot of people within the city, so at least they might have some connections of like canal guards or something like that who could kind of watch for any strange shipments that might be moving out, and then we could move to cut them off or something.
The problem is that you don't know how to find these people other than meet them tonight, and we don't have that much time.
Yeah, you would definitely have to you could try to just search, get a roll off that and see how that goes. But yeah, like your last instructions were to meet them at a certain time in the evening.
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy was staying in the inn, and the inn just burnt up on fire. So maybe the patrons were just gathering outside or something.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah. Well, and we also knew he was a stevedore too. So you at the very least you might know like kind of where he works, right? Which is a dock worker, right? Right. I think it's possible you might be able just to like try to locate him. I think that's a good use of your time. What was his name? Do you remember?
His name.
I'm really bad lately about writing down NPC names. I don't write them down thinking, oh, I'll just watch the video, and then I never do, and then I don't have their names.
So. I don't think we gave him a name.
Yeah,
drunkard.
I don't know if he got a name. Yeah, I don't have one written down.
Yeah, let's give him a name now. We'll call him. I don't know. Well, we'll just call him the stevedore for now. So. Maybe the reason why I didn't give you his name is because he's engaged in some illicit activity, right? Mm-hmm.
He was also drunk and high, so...
There's that too. Let's see here. We probably have... I think there might be a move that might help adjudicate this a little bit.
Heirloom.
No, and heirlooms. I think heirloom is tapped out as far as like locating this book. Let's talk about... There's not a great move here. I'm going to make it charisma though, because supply is charisma, so that kind of makes sense. You're kind of asking around, right? Like, and I think that's probably your best move there. Alessio, do you want to do that?
I wonder if I have an advancement on the table, and I wonder if so there's a Templar move called Voice of Authority. You gain followers. You have 3 of them at any given time, and they're all hirelings with 2 loyalty, no skills, and cause blind and religious fervor. I wonder if maybe I made enough of an impression on this guy and a couple of his friends.
They just show up.
They just show up.
Do you have an advanced multi-class move at level 2?
Priest lets you take a Templar or a mage.
Oh, okay, good.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea actually. Yeah, if you want to do that, if you want to take that, I
Because
think
like
it's cool.
theoretically, the drugs that they're taking contain like the memories that we have had of this conspiracy. So he might have like
Right.
even he might have he might have images of some of the things I've actually seen. So I might
Yeah,
be
yeah,
like
this could be a total like you are the one prophetic thing for them or whatever, right? So yeah,
cool.
and
Well, then I think I'd like to take that move and have some rebellious followers.
have them on hand. Give them names. Let's take a quick break. Give them names and stat them out as needed. The hireling stats are on page like 34, maybe, of the Dungeon World book.
Cool.
And then yeah, just to do that, we'll take like I think we can take 10 minutes and be good to still finish the session. So we're barreling towards a conclusion here, right? Like you were dropped in a conclusion practically. That's because you guys got so many failed rolls. Like,
Yeah.
2 missed rolls right at the beginning will do that. It will accelerate things a little bit.
Yep.
Let's take 10. I'm going to send you those text changes to Uncanny Echo 1 today, Fraser.
Awesome. Yeah, we did the playtest of Suburbia, and it was like amazing.
It's good.
I listened to DR already as well last night. It was great.
I haven't even posted it up yet anywhere. I just wanted to get it up so that people can start getting the contest stuff going.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm excited about that.
All right, so who are your new followers?
Cool. So unfortunately, they don't actually get skills, which is kind of disappointing. But
What do they get? They just like they're hirelings, though, right?
yeah, they just get +2 loyalty, no skills, and the cost blind religious fervor. But
Okay, well, they got 2 loyalties, so that's something.
yeah. So, but at least who they are, I think the stevedore's name could be Darius.
Okay.
And then the other 2 are the Scarlato sisters, Diona and Fiora. I think one of them used to be a priest, and one of them used to be sort of like an honored guard for the church. And then since the news came out about the church, they've kind of both dropped their previous positions and have become popular in the underground fighting rings. And,
okay, nice.
yeah, so they fight together. It's kind of like 2v2s or something. So they're known for that. If they when I was building them, I was like, oh, one of them could be a warrior and one of them could be a protector. And I was like, oh, okay. They don't get skills.
They don't get that.
But flavorfully, that's what they are.
Darius, what were the women's names?
Diona and Fiora.
Fiona and Fiora. Okay. Awesome. So we're gonna kind of fast forward in time here a little bit. They come. I think like maybe like just a little bit later that day, word has reached. I think word has already gotten out that Rinaldo Castafiel was killed. Everybody's heard about the Svelte Elk. Like it's a big thing, right? And Darius will have come to you. In the interest of time, I'm just kind of summarizing this. Darius will have come to you and he will have explained to you that like he's continued to see you in his visions, and he knows it was not a chance encounter, and he believes that like there's something bigger going on, and that they want to help, right? And so as soon as you share the information of like we need to know like how to get into the Black Nest, Diona and Fiora have you covered, right? Because there is in the Black Nest there's Gnoll, Gnoll, a Gnoll who runs like an underground fighting, runs like a fighting thing.
Nice.
Some blood sport. And yeah, so the way you get into the Black Nest, there are a couple different ways, but one of the ways, and the ways that you'll be shown, is there is a very, very filthy tavern in a very seedy part of town called the Black Tankard. And if you know the right person, and Diona and Fiora do, they will take you to the back room where they pull a carpet back, and there's a trapdoor, and they'll flip that trapdoor open, and that goes down to a ladder, and that ladder goes down to a basement space where there are some stairs, and those stairs go even further down into the Black Nest. The Black Nest is it's basically just a cave, essentially like a cave with a waterway that runs through it on one side, and then on the other side of the waterway, like where the actual Black Nest part is, it's just like a single street. Basically, it's a single street with vendors and some are like actual proper shops, and a few people live there. Not many people actually live there, and who are not like merchants or whatever. Just kind of like places where you can buy things that you can't buy in the city. Dark things, unsavory things, non-humans, and or I should say humanoids who can't walk about with humans, like elves and halflings, for example. They come to the Black Nest to do their operations in Kanalata, right? So you might see some orcs, you might see some there's a gnoll, Diona and Fiora, the gnoll who runs the Bloodsport, ring. He's there. It's a place of badness. I mean, it is essentially Skullport, right? It's like Skullport in the Forgotten Realms setting. And on the waterway, there is like a sort of a dock, right? Where like little boats, and mind you, these are just rowboats, not like actual ships that can come through here, where rowboats will like come and tie off and get loaded up, and then they go out the city. As you all are stepping into the cave mouth from the stairs that opens up into this, you kind of like up on a little kind of incline. You have to kind of like climb down a little bit, scramble down a little bit to get to the actual street part. But as you like get down into the street part, again, it's lit by there are lanterns kind of lit here and there. Some of them are in strange colors, like purples and blues and greens, casting a very like sort of strange multi-hued glow over the place. But as you go down and as you're kind of walking along the street to begin your investigation, I want to know what you each see that shows you just how depraved this place is, like just how disgusting and vile the business that takes place in the Black Nest is. This is like really, really gross shit. Like there was a cadaver cellar, right? Like, just with the bodies hanging there, naked, just hanging, right? Any thoughts?
I'm guessing slave trade is a thing.
Definitely.
Yeah, I think there's like a lot of gambling happening around the streets, like dicing and more like ruthless kind of stuff, like the classic like knife in the hand game and stuff like that. There's lots of little games that we see people playing on the streets as we pass by, and a lot of them involve like losing body parts or like gambling lives and stuff like that. Like maybe we see even someone collecting a debt and just executing, cutting someone's throat on the side of the road as we pass by.
Yes.
I'm thinking, I'm not sure how, it must have some magic involved into it or something, but I'm into the idea that some of the guards are not allowed to like see what is happening in this place. So their eyes have been like burned in their skull. So they're sort of like just drones and not people anymore. And maybe it's some of those, maybe we see some of those guards being made into that in the process of it, like the gambling debts with the people that lose or whatever are being sold to become these drone-like things. So we see
so they have their eyes put out, but they're able to see in some other way, like some magic.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
I like also that there's like, the opium has been spreading around the city a lot, and like people are doing like a real cut, like nasty version of that down here. And some people like run up to us, kind of maybe they recognize us from the visions that they're having or something. And like, the down low. So maybe like if Diona and Fiora with us, they're kind of like acting as our guards to like keep these crazy drug-addled folk away from us.
That's good. That's a good detail. It means you're not going completely surreptitiously through the street, right? What's your first move? Where would be the first place you'd go?
I think I would follow the smell if it's for cadavers.
Oh well, so to be perfectly clear, you don't know precisely where the book is. You just know that like that vision was just to tell you that it was in the Black Nest somewhere. So
It's not like, okay. I thought it was like we need to find the cadaver store.
no, that was just no. You find that's easy, but no, that's just a bit of visual.
The smattering of what's down
details. Yeah.
All right.
I think I would probably, in keeping with the rat motif, I think I'd be looking for some sort of thing to do with that, like maybe following rats or looking for signs of the rats, or for
droppings or something,
or for those symbols, like symbols of the church that are chewed up as well. Similar thing like that.
Good move. Roll discern realities.
While Fraser's doing that, I wonder if maybe when we had gone through the trapdoor, I'd kept the Scarlato sisters with us and asked Darius to kind of go off and start trouble in different areas of the city to kind of, like I said, like divert the church's attention as much as we can. I don't know if that's like a loyalty thing or whatever, but that's what I'd like him to do.
Yeah, they'll do that. I mean, like, just so you guys can kind of operate a little bit more undercover. I think that's good. Yeah, just remember that for me in case something happens that might implicate that. So.
Yeah, sure.
And I got a 12.
Nice. Ask away.
Maybe. Who's really in control here?
Good question. So one thing that I think is worth noting, this is out of character knowledge. This is for our own edification. The reason why this place is called the Black Nest is, well, nests are not just for birds, right? Nests can be for rats too. And you don't see any outward, like this street is dedicated to Rikisik, nothing like that, right? But you're keeping your nose to the ground, and because you know what you're looking for, because you know you're looking for some evidence of the cult activity, you are going to see the rats, right? Like they would just go. People down here would just like, they would go without notice, right? Like, oh, it's a rat, whatever the fuck, right? But you do get the really strong sense that you are being watched. You get the really strong sense that maybe the people of the Black Nest aren't going to bother you, but Rikisik is very much in control of this situation. This is essentially his place in the city, right?
I think when I notice these rats, I sort of tense out, and then I'm looking for more patterns regarding that, and looking to see what is about to happen.
If you, as you're going down the street, there is kind of like there is kind of like one point where there actually is kind of like a little T intersection, right? Like there might be somewhere else to go. And one of those places goes to the right, which goes down to the water. And the other goes to the left, which just goes up a hill to more cave. Like who knows where it goes. But if you get the distinct sense that like if you take that left path, you're going to face trouble, because you just feel it. You just know.
Like a sixth sense in the gut, like it's an ambush up there type deal.
Or just that's where you're not meant to go.
And lastly, I think since I get this feeling, I'm wondering what here is useful or valuable to me for coming up on like on top, I guess, of the situation.
Yeah, no, that's good. Useful or valuable to you? Useful or valuable? If you well, let's just get straight to it. You will notice up that left path that kind of goes up and just to the cave system, into the cave. You will notice in silhouette under the light, you will notice this sort of like robed, hooded figures, several of them up in that direction. Either coming or going. It's unclear what they're doing up there.
Have
Okay.
they seen us yet?
I don't think so.
So weary. I guess you spot this first.
Yeah, I think I pull you guys like aside on the markets as if we're about to like browse something at a vendor surreptitiously, and I point them out and I say, I think what we need is a diversion. And I look around for chandeliers. Not just kidding.
And I think
I don't know what to do.
I think I look to the Scarlato sisters and I say, you think you could draw a crowd, a little impromptu sparring action from the famed fighters?
They I think Fiora's mute and Diona and
maybe
Diona,
that's like her priesthood thing, like she's like the saints, like she swore an oath of silence or something.
I think she just lost her tongue in a
that's good too. Yeah,
in gladiatorial combat.
Yeah.
In fact, I think Diona wears her tongue around a leather cord. I think Diona won that tongue. And Diona says, "Yeah, we got this." And then they'll just start like Diona will start like yelling at Fiora, and like all this other stuff will start happening, and the crowd will gather. If you sort of like mix in with the crowd, those cultists, let's say there were 3 of them, they'll kind of come down there too, just to see what's going on.
Mm-hmm. And so I guess when they come down to make sure it's not a threat or whatever, maybe that's when we try to sneak up.
Yeah. Give me a dexterity roll. You can take +1 forward for following up.
Okie dokie. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
9. You are going to be able to go up the path. It will actually help. Actually, that might be a good aid from you, actually, Alessio, if you want to give me a charisma aid.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right. That is a 5.
Great.
Yep, great. Love it.
But your 9 still stands though, where I mean you're gonna get some benefit here. You guys sneak past. You're able to go up the path. Those cultists come down. You go up the path. That's all good. The cultists not seeing you is one thing. The rats seeing you is a different thing, right? You guys go up this little path, and this path doesn't go very far, actually. Not even like, I don't know, probably like the equivalent of like 2 city blocks, of even that. And it kind of goes up a little bit. It's going at an elevation, and it ends at what appears to be like an actual like little portcullis, like a little tiny portcullis, like in the cave wall, but it's really small. Like you would have to like crawl to get into it, right? But it's there. It's unclear how to operate it. Geiska, do you have any thoughts about how to get past this portcullis?
Portcullis is like a door, right?
It is like a gate, in fact, that can be lifted.
Okay, I am going to bend bars the gate because I can do that.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm calling for the roll here is because you want to get in there quickly, right? So that nobody
Yeah.
sees you.
I think I look around and I'm like,
And that is a 12.
looks a bit rodent sized to me.
Yeah, you guys would definitely be like on your hands and knees, right?
Yeah, I got a 12. So that is 2, 3. So I will just not pick the the thing again without a lot of effort. So everything else happens.
Nice.
It just can't be fixed.
Who's going in first?
I'm looking at the two of you.
Gaiska probably, even though he's at 7 health.
Well, before we enter the space, I might make sure that it is not trapped as well, especially if it's not meant for humans to go
That
into.
makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm gonna okay, that's good. Yeah, go ahead and just roll. Roll trap expert.
Okay.
You're just meant to crawl, you know, because the cultists probably go through here, right? They just crawl.
Oh yeah. Well,
To
I'm
To
thinking
become
it
one
might-
with their rat-like, you know.
Yeah.
God.
Oh, the cultists do come through there. Oh, okay. I rolled a 7.
Okay, go ahead and ask.
Is there a trap here?
Well, it's a hard question to answer. There is no actual mechanical per se trap there. That is
Okay.
true. But that doesn't mean that the various forces that be can't do other things. So
Right.
as far as like triggering a trap, a mechanical trap, no.
Oh, okay. Well, I think I would go in first then and go. And that's all the hold that I get, right? Because it's 7.
Right, that's it. Who's going in second?
I think real quick before Gaiska, maybe I see Gaiska like, you know, bent, you know, lifting the gate and kind of struggling with his wounds. And I think I say because I have one hold left over. I say, oh, Gaiska.
Darius is with you still, right? Or did Darius stay with Fiona, Diona, and Fiora?
I had kind of said that like he would be.
Oh,
the
he was going to go like
you know, above ground stuff. But I think to Gaiska, I would say, I would just say, before we go, you fought well earlier, and I'd put my hand on his shoulder, and whatever light is kind of like left in his armor from the magic I'd been using to bolster him before, kind of like enters his body. And Gaiska, you feel like this sort of warmth coming from your armor as it kind of like, you know, fills all of inside of you, and you can roll 1d8 and heal that much damage.
Yay.
The last hold from my divine ward.
And that's an 8. Yay.
Yeah, well played, because I think you're gonna need it. So, who's going in second?
Gaiska.
Awesome. Weary crawls in, going a little slowly because he's checking for traps. Gaiska crawls in, and you're getting ready to crawl in, Alessio. Did you mark XP earlier?
Oh, no. Although I don't know if I really need to, because we'll see how this ends up.
Go ahead and mark XP.
Sure.
You are getting ready to crawl in when you hear, well, let's just say when something grabs you by the ankle.
Okay.
What do you do?
And I think that so we're sort of in like a tunnel, and we're crawling into like a much smaller tunnel on the ground, right?
Yeah, you're in a cave that's like, and you're like now going into a little tunnel inside the cave wall.
Yeah. I think I would just try and like reflexively just like kick my leg up against the edge of the entranceway, or like maybe there's a little like part of the gate that's still like broken and sharp or something, and I'll try to, whatever it is, just kind of like kick it into that.
Nice. So you're just trying to wrench your leg free, basically, right? Give me a strength roll.
Do I have any strength? Yes, I have one. It's 7.
Okay. Okay. So something grabs your leg, and you are trying to like pull free, and you do. You manage to pull free and scramble deeper into the little tunnel. So the three of you are all in the tunnel now, and you all just hear this like behind you. You hear this like tearing sound, like a it's just like a it's like a tearing sound, like you can hear like something ripping. It's like a like flesh ripping, and then you hear like a pop, like a balloon. You can't see what's happening. You just hear this behind you, and then the tunnel is just filled with rats. There's like rats just like crawling, like all like up toward you guys, right? They are crawling in your armor. They're crawling in your flesh. They are just biting and tearing as best they can. You each are going to take a D4 damage. No armor on that.
Yikes.
How's everyone doing on HP?
I'm
And
at 18.
14, 18. What are you at, Alessio?
10.
10. All right. But that little rat swarm continues along. They pass. You bat them away as best you can. And you keep pressing forward, I assume, down the tunnel. You crawl a little further, weary, and finally it gets to the end. But before it gets to the end, you have a really good like view of what you're about to crawl into. Okay. It opens up into what appears to be a large, sort of like vast, not vast, but like a really large, big cave space. And you can tell it's really big because it's illuminated, right? There are braziers hanging all over the place at different levels that kind of illuminate the space. And inside this space, you see a statue, an enormous statue. The statue is probably like a good, it's probably at least 20 feet tall, and then it's on a plinth that's even taller. And it's a statue of a 12-legged rat with 2 mouths and a bunch of eyes, right? You can kind of see it, as you kind of like look up the angle that you're at. And there are definitely figures moving around in the darkness. You can't quite make out what or who. What do you do though, Weary?
Is this statue hung, or is
It's
so
just
tall?
on a platform. Yeah, it's tall.
Does it seem like the platform would be easily, like, is it supported in such a way that I could break the support and have it?
It's too big. You don't have any kind of tools to do that. You can go through realities though, since it seems like you're kind of examining the situation.
Yeah. Okay. I'll just clear this here. 7.
Okay, one question.
What should I be on the lookout for?
The book is definitely there. And the reason why you know the book is there is because you can hear a whispered conversation. You can hear a whispered conversation off to the side, something along the lines of the fool Renalto. He's asked us to get this out of the city, right? And we will. They're aware of you guys. They're aware of people wanting the book, and it's clearly somewhere. It's in this space. So.
Okay.
Then what?
I think I'll do the Assassin's Creed thing and start trying to sneak into the shadows and pick them off one by one. Metal Gear Solid them.
I love it. Yeah. Give me a Defy Danger Dexterity just for the general like sneakiness aspect of it.
Okay. You roll Oof. 4 is 7, barely.
I think you're going to be able to pick off. I think there are probably about 6 of them. On a 7 to 9, I think you'll be able to pick off. Roll a d6.
Okay.
Come on, Master Assassin.
Yeah. 1, of course.
And then at that point, it's up to Gaiska and Alessio to act, right? Because Weary will be caught.
All right.
So describe it, Weary. What do you do?
Yeah, I think I was maybe not significantly ahead of them, but enough that there was perhaps one of them that I overheard those people talking because they were right below us. The other guy moves to like walk away or whoever, like man or woman. And then I sort of just like lower myself down from the hatch with my legs there, and I do the like snapping neck thing
Nice.
on the guy and then fall.
And now others are aware of you. So the other cultists, they see you and they're like, they're here, quick, and like they're kind of scrambling around. You caught them by surprise though, so you guys have a minute to act here. Guys, go. What do you do?
I am trying to locate the book as quickly as possible.
So you're just running in there trying to find the book. Awesome. What about
Yeah.
you, Alessio?
I wonder if I could call on some sort of invocation. I want to command something your deity represents. So like it's kind of like the soothing thing that I can do, where I want to sort of I want to basically soothe these cultists' alarm and suspicion and kind of make them more, passive and subdued and maybe like less perceptive, less alert, sort of, so Weary can have a better ability to kind of like, continue fighting them or something like that.
Yeah. So just kind of sap their strength a little bit. This will be tough because you're deep underground in a holy shrine of a demon rat god.
Yeah, so I pulled the amulet out of my chest, the picture of the sun, and I focus really hard to kind of, I imagine it saps all the warmth out of my body too, because like that, I'm calling on the last of my power, sort of.
Yeah, I think there's definitely going to be some price to pay. So.
Oh yeah. Should I roll that?
Yeah, go for it.
All right, so this is plus wisdom, and that's a 6.
All right.
The story of Alessio is turning out to be a bit of a tragedy, although I'm marking some XP.
This is where Lorelei, out of character, this is probably where the truth of Lorelei, where Lorelei reveals herself, right? Because Lorelei, as you suspect, or maybe you don't know for sure, but like but Lorelei is also part of the demon cabal, right? And you are, I think you feel like the way you interpret it is, as your companions are down there doing their thing and you're getting ready to, and you're praying to Lorelei, you feel like a beckoning behind you, right? You feel Saint Lorelei, a beckoning warmth calling you back, like commanding you to withdraw, that this is not a place for you. And you can choose to obey that, in which case you're good to go, or you can choose to disregard it. If you choose to disregard it, you will be out of Lorelei's favor for this.
I mean,
in which case you will be a guy with a sword or whatever you got down there.
Yeah, the character of Alessio, like he's found a new life in this sort of like rebellion against the church. Like he's been emboldened by traveling with these adventurers and learning new skills and stuff. And he's a very compassionate person, right? He's all about the connections that he's made and stuff. And I think in this moment he realizes that is truly like the fate that he has followed, is like being able to because when he was younger and his friends came back from the war, that's how he found himself, is helping them through those things, right, and being a comforting presence to them. And Saint Lorelei kind of gave him the gifts and helped him with that, but he realizes that he doesn't really need that to be what the kind of person or priest that he wants to be. So I think he tears the amulet or the sun, the cord off from his neck, and throws it aside, and maybe feels like all the warmth kind of leave his body, and he's you see him just shiver and shudder, but I think he turns away from the warmth.
All right. Weary.
And sorry, and pull out his rapier.
Right, fair enough, yeah. Weary. 2 cultists are rushing at you. What do you do?
I think I spin in sort of I'm picturing, those Russian dwarvish dances where they're kicking up I go like that low, but I spin with my swords. Or with my sword. With my sword, because I don't have 2 anymore.
Yeah. It's not quite as flashy as previously. Yeah, they're coming at you. They have daggers in their hands. Go ahead and give me a hack and slash.
Okie dokie.
I wonder actually if I see Weary about to head into battle, and I have a second rapier on me, and I don't really know how to use this thing, so maybe I have this crisis of faith, and then see Weary and see that he needs help and call out to him and just toss the sword to him or something, so he can fight with both of them again. Or maybe that's a little over the top.
Do you get mechanical advantage for having both, or?
I don't think so.
So you just be throwing your sword away. In the fiction, it's nice, so I'll leave it up to you. But
yeah, I'd like to if that's.
Alessio would be worse with the rapier than with the staff because it uses his dex.
Yeah. And also I don't know. I think Alessio is all about supporting. That's the role he wants to play. So pretty sure if that sounds cool to you, just fictionally, I'd like to do that.
Sure, yeah, that's fine with me.
What'd you get on the roll?
Just rolling now. 12.
Nice. Go ahead and roll your damage. Do you want to take their hit to do an extra d6?
Sure.
Right.
So I rolled a 5 for a damage on a d8.
Okay, 5 for damage, and then you can roll another d6.
Okay. Which is, of course, a 2.
That isn't enough to kill them. They and in the doing, I think you cut them down, and you cut them down, but not before one of them can kind of jam his dagger in the meaty part of your thigh or whatever. You take a d6 plus 1.
Okay. D6. Come on, 1. 4. So 5, and then I use armor though?
You get armor, yeah.
Okay. And then if I'm outnumbered, I get another 2 armor.
Okay, nice.
So 3. So 2 damage.
Right.
Dude, this is how I've survived.
It's true. It's true. Gaiska, you are just looking for the fucking book, right? That's just your main thing. Where is the effing book? You're looking around, and I'm going to let you do that. I'll let you look around. I'll even let you find it. It's a good sized space, but it's not a complicated space, right? So that's an option. Or the other option is one of the cultists drops down in front of his knees in front of that big statue of Rikisik, right? And he has produced from somewhere, he has produced an owl. He has an owl flapping, holding it by its feet, flapping upside down. And he's got his dagger, and he says, "Lord Rikisik, aid us in this time of our need. Please, I beseech you." And he's getting ready to kill the owl. You can find the book right away?
Again. No, not this shit again. I am going to stab that cultist.
Give me a defy danger dexterity to act quickly.
That is a +0, so let me submit. That's a 5.
Yeah. I think you're like, fuck no. You're running to stop that, and I think you trip and you just hit the ground hard. And the cultist like rips slides his dagger across the owl's neck, and the blood like spills on the altar right before the little like sort of prayer space right before the statue. And here's where shit gets really horrifying. The statue changes. The stakes are so high here for the conspiracy. The statue changes, and it essentially animates. There is an avatar, a legit avatar of Rikisik there. It lets out like a sickening, like screeching roar, and it's a double screeching roar because it has two mouths, and it's got like dozens of like red spider-like eyes going up its skull, and tons and tons of legs, and it's just enormous. The thing is so big. It's not so big you can't hurt it with your weapons, but it's big enough to where like just even getting close to it is going to be like, to hit it is a problem. But it's now there in the middle of the room with all of you. Nerves are being tested. Trousers are being soiled, no doubt. Mark XP, guys, if you didn't.
I yell, Alessio, grab the book and go.
Alessio, the book. You do see a pile of stuff towards the back of the room: chests, barrels, rolled up cloths, probably various ritual supplies, like a little storage corner, essentially. What do you do?
I think, after my momentary stab of terror upon witnessing this, animating form of this demon god, I kind of shake it off, and I think like this is, Alessio just like gave up his priestdom basically, and he's committed to embracing, this new life of an adventurer kind of thing. So I think he just kind of gets up, shakes himself off, grabs his staff, and charges over there. Yeah, I mean, he doesn't have any special moves here. I think he's just going to go and search for the book.
All right, you're running over there to go search for the book. Weary, what about you?
Are these guys still alive?
There's still several cultists in the room. Yeah. Not the two that you were attacking; they're dead. But...
okay. Geez, maybe I'll try to get into an advantageous position to stab this giant thing and poison my blade, I guess.
Indeed. So yeah, there's not a lot of places to run from it, right? It's got lots of eyes, and it takes up a lot of the space, right? It's pretty big. It can reach everywhere. Where would you just kind of give me the fiction? Like, what do you try to do?
If it is as big as I'm picturing, maybe I jump onto like its arm and run up to it and try to stab it in a place that would harm it more so.
Like maybe get up to its head or whatever? That'd be an idea.
Yeah, like stab its eye or something, okay, right? Yeah. Like a vulnerable spot.
Trying to climb it will be a trick. A good trick. Give me a con roll.
Okay.
Climbing is, per the rules of the game, always con. So
con is +1 because I'm sick. Oh, and I got 11.
Nice.
Oh,
pardon?
13 because it's +1, not -1.
No,
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, I rolled very well.
You will be able to scale the beast. Describe that.
I think it's like kind of lumbering or just getting a sense of itself.
Mm.
And so I just murdered these cultists, and its arm is going up, and I like hop from whatever I'm standing on, like a banister or parapet or whatever it is, onto the arm and just like run up it. And maybe I'm able to because it used to be like a statue, so maybe it has like a little bit of gripping. And then I jump up onto its head or something.
Nice. Gaiska, what are you doing in the meantime? This thing has come alive. Yeah.
Sorry, real quick. Can I sort of a little bit retcon what I said before? I think like Gaiska called out to me like, get the book and leave. And I think instead, I think I'm just like, the book, right? Of course, the book. And I pull the book out that I had brought with me, the last book. And I want to, I think, you know, since we had known that we might go up against Rakisix, I think I have like a tome here of like knowledge of whatever, you know, a forbidden tome of knowledge of the ancient demon gods or something. And I'd like to like spout lore and see if I can find something like Avatar of Rakisix, like, and try and find some weakness or some way that like
you might be handing me a huge golden opportunity here by like in the middle of this giant fight, like trying to research in the middle of this fight. I think it's a massive golden opportunity. You can try that, but I will be very liberal with my hard moves. So the choice is yours.
Let me ask you if the stakes are worth it. You know, if I'm going to make this roll, is it plausible that I might find something that actually a value that could give us the upper hand in this otherwise potentially unwinnable fight?
It's not unwinnable right now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if you. I think it's just such a long shot.
Okay, that's fine. I know.
I love the idea of it if you had a breather, if you had a moment to do that, but like the situation is way too hot, right?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, no, grab the other book and.
Well, so guys, you're lifting yourself off the ground. This thing has come alive. You see Weary running up the arm or the leg or whatever. What do you do?
I'm going to defend Alessio while he's trying to grab the book. That
good move. Yeah. Roll plus con.
All right. That is an 11.
Nice. So you get 3 hold. I need a bio break, like really quick. So like I'll just be 1 minute.
Yeah,
same.
Sure. How big did Jason say the statue is? Like, it's
a really big room, and it takes up all of it, basically.
Oh, yeah, he said 20 feet, I think, right?
I don't know if it gave a specific amount.
Yeah.
Big, basically.
Oh boy.
Although, also, by the way, if it really came down to it, I do have escape route as a move. So.
Well.
Go ahead, Maria.
No, it's just like I'm basically defending Alessio. It just comes down to Alessio getting the book and going.
Oh, this fight is so fucking intense. All right, so Alessio, there are still 4 cultists in the room. As soon as they realized that there were 6 and only 2 were killed, right?
3 were killed. The first one was killed by.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right. Yes, that's right. We killed them. There's still 3, and they know what you're doing, and they're rushing at you, Alessio. Do you want to redirect there, guys? Go with one of your hold.
Sure.
All right. So, how do you get in their way? How do you do that?
I think, sorry, just at first, like, I had gotten the book out to, like, start looking at something, and then, like, guys was like, no, the other book, and I look up and, like, see the cultists, like, running towards me, and I just keep heading up over towards all the boxes and stuff, and yeah, then go ahead.
And then I intercept the cultist while they're running at him.
Nice. All right. So, Alessio, this is, I don't think you really have time to, like, carefully study or search the situation. So I'm going to just roll a die of fate here.
Perfect.
See how your initial just scan goes. Higher numbers are better for you.
That's how Alessio's life is right now. Everything's just up to the die of fate.
You lucked out. 5 is a good result on the die of fate. Okay. You find a chest that is marked with like it's like burned onto it the 4 squared stylized sun and moon of the church. This chest came from the church. Problem, it's locked. So that's a start. There's a chest. You could carry it if you want to just grab it, but you don't know for sure the book is in there, for one thing, but also it'll be a little slower than just like grabbing the book, right? So but hold that thought. Gaiska, you've got 3 cultists on you. They are attacking you. What do you do? How do you draw them away?
Alessio just runs past, and then the cultists are running, dashing towards me. I just intercept, and while Alessio is rushing to get the book, I basically go between him and the cultists.
Nice. You want to give me a hack and slash?
Yes, sir. Modifier 3, submit. That is a 13, and I do not want that extra damage. Because that is a terrible idea in this situation, I think.
Go for it. Give me a damage roll.
8 to piercing.
Okay, nice. I didn't really ask you to describe your attack, but like I'll let it count against all of them if you want to just describe it that way.
Sorry?
I'll let it count against all of them if you want to just describe your attack striking.
Yeah, I just when I intercept them, I just start cleaving all of them, like one massive blow, then another, like that, and nice. I just start with my one hand and the big fucking sword that is messy and forceful.
Indeed, Weary. Climbing the beast is not the same thing as staying on. We're gonna do some Shadow of the Colossus shit here. I think as soon as you like get to the top of it, it just begins like whipping, its body to try to like sling you off. I assume you're gonna try to hold on.
Yeah, I try to hold on by like putting one of the swords into its body and holding onto the sword, I think.
Nice. Just give me a strength to defy danger.
I'm gonna clear this here too. Strength is 7.
All right. You are you're gonna stay on, but I think you like you slide. I think you have to like slide down a little bit to keep your grip, but you're still up there. But you are not quite in place to like put the dagger through its skull yet. You've got to like continue that. So you've got to try to do that again. But you're still on the beast. So meanwhile, Gaiska's dealing with those 3 people. You see this chest. Alessio, what do you do?
Can you describe the room really quickly again?
It's kind of like just roughly circular cave, kind of cylindrical, right?
And the only way back out is through the tunnel?
Yeah.
I think that Alessio like can't have come all this way and not end up without the book, right? Like I need to lay my eyes on it to know that I have it. So I think I'd either did I see Gaiska like already deal with the 3 cultists?
Yeah, you can tell you have you're kind of not in danger, immediate danger anyway.
Yeah, well, Gaiska's the fighter here, so I think I would take the chest and I'd kind of like call out to Gaiska and I'd say, I just like toss it up and just say like, smash this if you can, and
To try to smash open the lock.
yeah, or just break the chest apart entirely. But like Alessio needs to know that he's not going to leave here with nothing.
Guys, do you want to do BBLG to try to get this done quickly?
Yeah. BBLG though.
Is the chest small enough that I could like heave
That
it?
is +3, so that is a 10.
What choices are you going to make, Gaiska?
Everything I did before, so it can't be fixed.
Okay, nice. Nothing inside is damaged, though, right? Okay.
Nothing of value is damaged.
Okay.
Correct. And
Give me this. Give me the moment here. What does it look like? Like
so
How-
you're throwing a chest at me.
Yeah.
Since it's a 10+, I'm just gonna just smack the chest midair as I cleave the last cultist, and then for whatever reason, nothing of value is damaged.
right. Well, yeah, I think it maybe pops open in midair, and the book just goes tumbling out. The book itself is actually quite big and hefty, probably the size of like a, more of a codex than a book, right?
Yeah.
But it goes and like like it is a codex. I think it has like folded pages. A few of them kind of flop out or whatever as it like hits the ground. But it's what you came for. That is the deal. Meanwhile, Weary, you are, I assume, going to try to like get up to the skull again.
Yeah, get up there and
it will continue to try to shake you off. Give me another strength roll.
Okay.
Clear these.
Yeah. All right. Wow. 11.
You are up. You are now on the skull. You're there. You see its eyes. It's like sort of glowing red eyes and all. And you can it's terrible like hissing, squeaking roar. It's a really strange sound, right? And it's double, right? Is just echoing throughout this hollowed space, and I mean, straight up Shadow of the Colossus shit here. You're gonna try to like kill it?
Yeah, I think if I can, I want to like smash my entire vial of poison and drive the sword into its eye as well.
Nice. I think it's still a strength roll just to like pierce the skull enough to do the deal. Let me clear these. Right.
Nope, not on that one. 3 is 4 only.
So help won't do it. Dang.
Mark an XP. Somewhere in another dimension, your mother, Constance, is up on a shelf wall or a shelf, up in a cavernous space, bigger and vaster than this, but not entirely different. And there's a hole in the ground out of which millions of rats are pouring. Her companions are being dragged underneath this ocean of rats as they are consumed. And she is there singularly, like above this hole, where the true Rikisik has risen out of the hole, massive and vile, big enough to swallow her in one gulp. She has in her hands a large, sort of rusty javelin, right? The javelin, we know as viewers, is special. It's marked with runes all across its length. It is the legendary Rat Stabber artifact. Has one purpose in life: to kill Rikisik. And she bravely jumps, dives down, her black silks fluttering in the shot with the javelin in an attempt to like pierce Rikisik's skull. And Rikisik whips his head up, opens his maw. She screams and falls in, and he claps on her, sending a spray of her blood oozing out of one of his mouths. That's kind of what happens to you as you go to make your move. The rat thing just like it whips up and just like instead just like sinks its mouths on you and just like like it caught you, right? Like flicking something off its head like an animal would do. You take some damage. Let's find out how much damage. That is also on our Dungeon World thing. Rikisik, this Rikisik avatar does a d12 plus 5 with 3 piercing.
You just enjoyed saying that, didn't you?
I
Jared?
really did. Yeah. How many hit points do you have right now?
18.
Oh, so you can actually
14.
survive it.
14.
Oh, you may not survive it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So D10 you said?
D12.
12
D12. Okay.
plus 5.
Let's watch it. Let's watch it. It's so intense.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
It.
yeah.
Actually, it's once per combat, my thing, and it can be on anything.
Oh, you can reinforce. That's right. You can
Reroll.
in any combat roll in the whole combat or just yours.
Any combat roll, mine or someone else's. It says
The damage, right?
the damage. I'm gonna force that reroll.
Let's see, Weary. You got one more shot.
Yes.
It's a 3 plus 5 is 8 plus
Indeed.
3 piercing, and then I have 3 armor.
Yes.
Uh,
Well, you have one.
It ignores all the armor, so you just take the straight.
But even then, it's like
Okay.
So you
So-
get up to 6 hit points.
If
you
I
took
could,
5. So
if I could, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Since I did the reroll, I think we remember like Guy is like no, and then you remember, and then he remembers like all the times that Guy saved his ass, and it's like he mentally makes it so that he survives this bear.
You're just saved by pure psychism here, by pure memory.
Or like I'm thinking, I'm guessing like the effect of like really remembering shit because he did try to start losing his fucking memory. So
Yeah. I mean, it could just be pure happenstance too, right? I mean, there may not even be fictional justification here. It could just be,
yeah, but like, I want to have that scene.
Yeah, it's like reminding him of who, like maybe like he's kind of losing himself in this combat, right? Like the visions of his mother and stuff like that. Like this is the story of Weary being like totally caught up in this quest, right? And maybe just that shout or that sound of Guy's Kaziya was enough to kind of like draw him back into the real world a little bit to sort of like, you know, avoid the worst of the blow.
Exactly that.
Fabulous. Weary, you are presently in the creature's jaws. It is going to do its best to shake the shit out of you, Weary. All right, so
Yeah.
let's proceed with the other two group. The book is there on the ground. What do you guys do? I mean,
I think I like Alessio to just like run. I mean, unless Guys has a plan with that, I'd like Alessio to scoop it up. And I see like Weary being torn apart by this giant rat, right? And I think like, Rikisik's obviously concerned with this book and it getting out into the hands of the public or something like that. So I think I'd pull the book and I'd open it to a page and I'd just start like yelling out the names of these like sinners and these people who have like, you know, torn my faith away from me. And I'm kind of like backing away towards the tunnel, but I'm trying to draw the attention and the ire of Rikisik away so that it might have a chance to drop Weary or something.
yeah, I'll count that as aid if when Weary tries to escape.
Also, I think I'm gonna cast a spell to make that to simultaneously peel across the veil and call across space to make it so that everyone in the world hears this.
That's an interesting idea. Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That's a nice bit of fiction. I think I'm going to count this as an aid in total for Weary to escape. This is very epic. Weary, how are you going to try to get out of this thing's jaws?
I kind of would like it to be that it has my arm and it like rips off my arm and then I escape by like sacrificing my arm.
That's a con roll. Are you ready for that?
Yeah.
Right. If you need the roll from Alessio, you can take it.
Okay. 7, 8. So
Alright.
it wouldn't help.
You have -1 on con as well, so 7 technically, right?
Oh, I do.
No, it's 8. It's 8 total.
Oh, okay.
It
All
has
right.
+2 and then -1.
Oh,
yeah.
-1. Yeah. Okay. All right. You're gonna escape, no problem. You are gonna have your arm. You're just gonna let him like take your arm. Is that the idea?
Yeah, I think it's like got my arm and it's using that as like leverage to get at me. And I
Mhm.
think we get a shot of me having my legs propped up against it and like forcefully like divesting myself away from it by it ripping my arm off.
Yeah, and I'll take that as the complication. Like, I assume you would have avoided that if you could, but like, yeah, I think it goes. I mean, your arm just like rips off. There's just like a sprinkler of blood as your body like hurls down to the ground, and I mean, now you're bleeding out. That's a problem, right? There's still the matter of escaping. The creature's still there. It's still going to try to like go at you guys. Who's first in the tunnel?
I wonder if I might be in.
You?
Guys who can go after Weary, or is Weary conscious? I guess is Weary like able to?
Weary is. I mean, Weary is out of the creature's jaws. That is like does not mean he's safe. So like that is it is what it is. He's screaming in pain. He's on the ground. He has no arm. And the creature is like, it's just going to go after you guys. It's going to try to rip you out of that hole if it can.
I am going to tell Alessio, go. I'll deal with Weary.
Are you going to try to just? Are you defending the area here, Gaiska?
Yeah.
All right, roll defend.
I still technically have to defend from that, but I'll roll defend again.
Well, yeah. So defend.
Yeah.
You're good on Alessio. Like I think you can.
Yeah.
The whole book operation, you can continue to do that. But
Yeah.
but with Weary, it's a little different situation. Like Weary is. Yeah. Are you trying to get Weary out of there? I guess is that the idea?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Roll a.
That's a 5.
Yeah. Okay. Weary, you can scramble over to the hole. All right. No, you can scramble to the hole. Your arm like screaming in pain. This is a horrific situation, right? And Geiska, you're just like, this is like, it's just you and this fucking thing, like just back and forth. It's biting and ripping and tearing. You are the shield, that might save these people. It might not. I think you just need to see if you can withstand, if you can just withstand the creature's attack. So,
All right.
give me the roll. D12 plus 5.
D12.
And he's got all the piercing. So.
Wait. It's a 2 plus 5.
7. How many hit points do you have?
I have 14.
All right, you are good. Alessio and Weary, you guys can escape if you wish.
Yeah, I think maybe like this last shot as Gaiska's being, like sort of torn into by this rat god. Like, can we say that like Gaiska's description from earlier flies a little bit about like me calling out the names into the cavern and like echoing throughout the world, or is that?
I think it's an interesting idea. Yeah, I mean, like I like it in spirit. I guess
in epilogue sense, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think like it's like Reynaldo Castafiel, thrall to Rikisik,
Rat Lord, right?
Lorenzo Di Forenzo, whatever of
Attalot to whatever demon Abaddon or whatever. Yeah, totally. I like it. Yeah,
and I think the whole time I'm just kind of like backing away slowly, like shouting out these words, echoing through the cavern, and then I'm struggling to keep it together as I see Gaiska just being like torn into, but like my voice stays strong. And then I think, we'll see how it plays out, but at a certain point I'll have to kind of abandon this thing and just leave into the tunnel. But I'm doing everything I can to kind of distract the rat god.
Yeah, I mean, Weary, are you just going to get in the tunnel and book it if you're able?
Yeah, I have escape route. I just run.
Nice, good. You may use said escape route. Alessio, you can benefit from Geiska distracting the creature right now to save yourself right now at this moment. If you stay, you're totally in danger of the thing, which might be what maybe you help Geiska. I don't know, but like that's the option right now of getting out. Like the way is open.
You also have the book, so guys gonna
Right, and you also have the fucking book, right?
Yeah, guys gonna need to push you to go now.
Yeah, and I think. Sorry, go ahead, Fisher.
Unless you give me the book while I'm running. If you want to do your scene with helping Geiska, I will.
That might be. You have one arm. It could be a tricky. I think the best you can hope for is you crawl out into the black nest and hope somebody saves your ass. Hope somebody bandages you up.
I think the big question is if I stay and try and use the book to help Geiska, or if I think what actually happens is Alessio understands Geiska really intently because he does have this intuitive sense of just understanding everybody he gets to know very well. And he knows how important, getting the book out is to Geiska. And if it really came down to it, he's empathetic to know that, enough to know that this is what Geiska would really want. So, I think,
Geiska is also screaming run, I assume.
Yeah.
Right? I'm also screaming run.
So I think with that understanding and the knowledge that Geiska would almost appreciate the hero's death of keeping the rat god back while we get this book into the hands of the people, I think I would read out the last name and just my voice kind of shudders as I trail off, and I just kind of sigh and I clap the book shut and I head for the tunnel and I kind of just say a silent prayer for Geiska.
Oh.
Yeah, so much for your prayers.
But not for Lorelei.
Yeah.
It's a personal prayer.
If there's no. And if Geiska can't escape at all, he's just gonna give Alessio his sword. If he knows that he can't escape, I'm just gonna give the sword to Alessio. So
I think it's a Blackgate situation, right?
Yeah.
I think it's a total Blackgate situation. You either are going to get out of this or you aren't. And we can figure out what it looks like after you've made that roll. Are you ready?
I am ready to completely fail because I always fail.
Before you roll last breath.
Yes.
Describe what the Blackgate looks like. In this moment, the Blackgate the veil is peeling. The Blackgate is reaching out to you, right? What does it look like to Geiska?
It looks like that village that I murdered.
Oh, nice, good. The people wanting their revenge. I like that.
Yeah.
So, that's nice. Is it like a sort of blasted, blood-soaked place? It's after that. Nice. And so, who is Death in this scenario?
I think it's one of my family members. I'm not sure which one because I've forgotten after many iterations of this because you did say this was in a loop as well. So
it could be like voices together speaking in unison, you just hear your ancestors judging you or something.
I love it. I think it's probably we'll say it's your mother. There, drenched in blood from where you sliced her throat, right? Mm-hmm. Coming out to meet you. Roll 2d6.
Boy. That's a 7.
7. Your mother walks forward and she whispers in your ear what you must do. And what you must do is you must drop your sword, fall down on your knees before this living material avatar of Rikisik and pledge yourself to the conspiracy. No one will know but you because your friends are gone.
And is this first starlight glowing? That's the question. Because I did pick that the enemy of the first starlights glow in the presence of.
I think that.
Or the sword.
I think the decision you make is going to affect that, right? I mean,
okay.
Do you wed the first starlight to the conspiracy?
I think
It's Emperor Palpatine has his hand out to you, right? Or whatever happens in Star Wars. I don't fucking know.
I think I think he's gonna say no. I will. I will. I will die for the people I protect, and I slice her throat, and then I die.
Yeah, the minute you say that you say no, you do that. As soon as you cut her throat again, anew, lop her head off, I suppose.
Yes.
The Rikisik avatar like wheels down, gets your upper half in one set of jaws, your lower half in another set of jaws, and just shakes until you split into blood going everywhere. And you pass beyond the black gates of death. Let's go to epilogue.
I think that upon emerging from the tunnel and heading into the black market, Alessio is greeted by there's like a riot down here. There's a mob. Like what the sisters started kind of cascaded, and now I see Darius, and he's brought a whole bunch of followers along with him, and they kind of just like take me, into the crowd, like throw another cloak on me, sort of, and stuff like that. And I have the book with me, but I kind of just I just sort of blend in, and maybe they're sort of holding guards back at either end of the black or the nest, but I think just they know the weaving pathways through the nest and stuff like that, and all the different ways we can get into. And I think maybe at this point Alessio sort of takes on a leadership role within this community, sort of like he uses his priestly preaching talents, and he's kind of, I think there are regular sort of like covert meetups, sort of, where he's sort of building this almost his own cult of followers a little bit. It definitely has a bit of a culty vibe because he is so pledged against this, and after the loss of his friend and everything like that, I think he's just resolute in fighting back and doing what he can to peel back the veil. But I don't know that we get there yet, and I don't know how involved Weary stays in that. So I'm really interested to hear if Weary is an instrumental tool in that movement, or if he does his own thing.
I think Weary uses the opportunity to. I think you're the only one that knows that Weary isn't dead, and he uses the opportunity to make himself a martyr to galvanize people even more. And like maybe, especially since there's a alleyway of cadavers, he like chops off one of the arms or whatever, right? And it's like, that's Weary, that's the dead one. But it takes a long time for him to recover anyway from this. But his main goal, I think, like if we can fast forward in time a little bit, is that like he has some sort of arm from like the necromancer type thing that Geiska had, and he's like he goes into the vault to confront Rikisik, and maybe it ends with him shouting at his mother right before the mother is consumed by Rikisik, in the same way that Geiska said no to like stop him from dying. He tries to do that with his mother, but we never find out if it works or not.
We don't see how it resolves. Yeah, it's good.
I think Weary becomes like a legendary figure amongst our group, sort of, and like people know how instrumental he was in acquiring the book and stuff like that. And Fraser, can you think of a way that we might carry on the spirit of Weary? Like, is there a symbol or something that we could take on, or some sort of like thing that the followers could wear or something to kind of, remember Weary in that way?
I can't remember any kind of iconography or anything like that he wore. before searching my memories of the other series.
Maybe they all carry rapiers like yours or something.
Well, I guess you guys could pick up the symbol of the Shadow Court. Actually, you
Ooh,
could.
But isn't the
Yeah.
Shadow Court tied to? Well, they're tied to Malgolian, who is one of the original gods. So not really
Yeah.
Yeah,
demons.
the Shadow Court's technically part of the church, but like they've got their own ambitions and things they're doing. So.
Yeah, it's in, but in terms of what it looks like, it's an inverted symbol of the church.
right.
So maybe
Yeah.
you could use that in sort of a way of like taking back the symbol, right, from the Shadow Court or something like that to become the rebellion or something. I'm not sure.
No, I like it. I like it. I mean, I think you guys have painted a pretty good picture here. Essentially, via your sacrifices, and you each made very significant sacrifices. The conspiracy will gradually begin to unravel, right? Over time, the church will be cleansed of this rot. It's not something any of you will see in your lifetimes. Those of you who are alive, it may not be anything that any other future characters see in their lifetimes, but the process begins. The rumors begin. The whispering. People begin to ask questions. Orders of knights dedicated to revealing the truth, organize and wage wars. Lords dedicated to overturning like the grip of these demons, raise armies. Like it gradually, eventually will begin. The tide will begin to turn over the full sweep, the full arc of history, and it begins in this moment, right? Will history remember any of you? They're definitely not going to remember, guys. History might remember Weary or some version of it. And Alessio, you probably you have a better chance of going down as a remembered person. But in any case, it all begins somewhere, right? And you've accomplished that. Bravo. Yep. So that was We Hunt the Keepers, and I don't see the point in doing an end of session, to be quite honest. I don't think we're going to see these characters again, right? Doesn't seem like a thing that's going to happen. But I thank you all for playing and doing a lovely job. And I'll be on Discord if you guys want to talk.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Jason.